welcome back to the channel and welcome to Summer of Suffering, the Gauntlet. We are going to go on the right path that is going to have Toad as the first defender, followed by the Destroyer, and then the very nasty Moleman, and the boss is going to be Infamous Ironman. Now, Moleman and Famous Ironman are going to be the combined fights on both paths. And as a rule of thumb, just remember that the most shitty fight in all of this is going to be a Moleman. So when you decide your team, make sure that you start with the counter for Moleman and then you plan your team outwards toward the other defenders. Now there are going to be 6 different objectives here, plus 1 for completion. So there are 7 points available, and if you have done all the objectives right, you should have 18 right now. And to get the maximum rewards for Valiant, you need 6 of them. So your objectives are going to be complete Summer of Suffering Gauntlet with a team of Tech, Skill and Size champion. Other will be to complete it with the Mutant, Cosmic and Mystic champion. And another one would be use only larger Excel champions. Number 4 is going to be use only Hero champions. And number 5 is use only Saga champions. And number 6 is going to be do not use any Saga champions. So the way I've structured my team is I'm going to do Tech, Skill and Size with Hero champions and without Saga. So my team is going to be a Warlock that is going to take out Toad. It's going to be a slow fight. And then there is going to be a Spider Ham who is going to help me take out Destroyer. And I'm going to use Kate Bishop for that very nasty Moleman. And I'm going to use Kate Bishop and if needed Spider Ham for the boss. The boss is not really difficult. We'll discuss more on them later. And before I jump in and explain the fight on Toad, if you haven't checked it out, check out my other video. I will tag all the videos in the pinned comment from the whole Summer of Suffering. So if you want to go back and reference to the fight notes and everything, you can check those videos out. I would suggest you to boost fully because this is a difficult content. It will take quite a bit of time. So I would say go your 20% boost health and attack, and also go for another 15% health and attack. It will be worth it. So first fight is going to be a Toad. I'm going to use a Warlock, and there are other champions that you can use. A lot of tech are going to be Saga as well, so it's upon you. Are you going to go with Saga or without Saga champions? I went with without Saga, so I'm going to use a Warlock. Some really cool counters with Saga are going to be your Ironheart. Another option that you can use is going to be your Lady Deathstrike and Viv Vision. So make sure you bring in a right counter for Toad. Now this is going to be the only slow fight. The rest of the fights are a bit easier to deal with. As long as you bring in a good counter to Moleman, you should be good for the whole path. Now here for this fight, a couple of things you need to take care about. One is remember that he is going to root you on the first special trigger from him, and he's going to reverse your controls on the second special trigger. So what I like to do as a rule of thumb, when he is about to root me, that is usually displayed with a gray icon with a hand, I trigger his SP1, I bait that out. It's easier, just like there. And when the next one he's going to reverse the controls, that is represented by a gray icon with a brain with inverse arrows, I push Toad to an SP2. So SP2 gives you more space, and what that does, it removes all the prowesses, so you don't have to worry about the prowesses. Now the question is, why do you have to worry about the prowesses? Because at 10 prowesses, if you are using a poison immune champion, you are passively stunned and gives an opening to Toad to come and kill you off. And if he throws a special, that's a for sure death. So you have to play slow around it. So I was able to bring down Toad to 2%, and then I messed up on the reverse control and I died there. So I went back in and brought in Spider Ham. Just very quick, I just took him out with 2 or 3 hits, and yeah, Toad I was able to take down. I was able to do that because I did run quite a few boosts. I ran 10% health and attack boost, and another 15% attack boost, and then another 10% health boost. So I would say boost really hard. Now next up is going to be the Destroyer. Pretty simple and straightforward fight, to be honest. Any size champion will work. It's very easy to deal with. On the special ones, he's going to go unblockable and you will be rooted, but it's only 3 dexes. You can do it very well and you are able to play around it. Now the deal here is to make sure that his charges do not build up too much that he gains all that power and throws a huge SP3. For that, you need a champion that can apply non-damaging debuffs. Now, Spider-Ham is all about those non-damaging debuffs, and those power stings will help me do damage to Destroyer. So I am going to keep applying those power stings and keep pushing him to an SP2. And if I dash back after 6 of those charges on me, I am also going to kind of evade the special attack. So that is also going to help work in my favor. I've tried this fight with Silk as well, works really well. I've tried with the rank 3 Joe Fixit, works as well. So plenty of different options are available for this fight. This is just like an interim easy fight between two crazy ones. Crazy ones being your Toad and the upcoming Moleman fight. So make sure you bring in the right counter. I've given you quite a bit of counters, Saga and non-Saga champions, both of them. So you can choose from that while you are making a plan for your path. But this is one of the easier fights. You can just, have your eyes closed and bring in a science champion. Any kind, you should be good. Just make sure that you do not bring in a champion that has a lot of buffs, because the return damage from Destroyer will really kill you off. That's the only thing you need to take care about, and you should be good with the unblockable. Make sure that you have distance when the cooldown is about to expire, so you get unblockable instead of that Destroyer. And we are up to the nastiest fight of this gauntlet, that is going to be the Moleman. Now with Moleman, he will not take any kind of damage. He only takes damage after his special attack, all the cumulative damage. So you need champions that have damage over time. Now the problem with damage over time is there are passive damage over time and there are active debuffs. So if you're using somebody with active debuffs like with bleeds and everything, those are going to be shrugged off because Moleman has his own monster mass, and also there is a node that devoids you of all of your power and debuffs every 20 seconds. So the window is very small. Now the good thing about Kate Bishop is she has a passive kind of debuff, that is Cold Snap, and that is not affected by either the monster mass or that node. So that can stay up on Moleman and you can keep damaging, and it's very high damage. So the way this works, that during a special attack, all the damage that is being applied on Moleman is all accumulated, and at the end of the special attack, his animation, all of that is inflicted as a burst damage on Moleman. So you will see at the end of special attacks, I do quite a bit of damage. And with my regular basic attacks, I can only do 10% of my total damage. So that makes Moleman a really annoying fight, because if you try to apply debuff, you need the debuffs. But if you apply debuffs, they are all shrugged off by Monster Mass and also the node. And by the time you are able to get his frenzy up and do some kind of decent damage, he goes, the frenzy, he hits quite hard in his block. So you need a really good counter. And from the skill champions, there's no better counter than Kate Bishop, because first thing, she's not affected by the monster mass. Her Cold Snap goes through all of it. And secondly, there's also, she has her own evade, so it's very easy for her to just evade even during frenzy quite safely, and you can use that to your advantage. Right here, he resisted 2 of my heavy attacks, came back and killed me off. That's okay. I will come back and I use a Spider Hand to kill him. Now, there are other options that you can use. I will mention them, but those are going to be longer fights. Kate Bishop is by far the most efficient one. So if you have her, bring her along and plan your other team around it. That is going to really make your life easy, and with all of those boosts. This gauntlet is quite long with all the champions. I was able to get all of this done in only 11 minutes because of the right team that I've selected to get the maximum amount of points. And the boss fight is going to be Ironman Infamous. Now, he's not difficult. I do make a lot of mistakes. So the first things first, whenever you dash in, you will get a Fury on yourself, a passive Fury increasing your damage. And when you will go dash back, that will be removed. Now, the way you will take damage here is whenever Ironman Infamous will use a special attack, there will be a timer on you. And during that timer, you have to knock Infamous Ironman down to remove that timer. Otherwise, you get half of your health as damage. Now, the way Infamous Iron Man works, if you use a special one attack, he's going to get that Aura of Iron. And in Aura of Iron, he cannot be locked down just like Doom. So you have to play really carefully. Try to push him to an SP2. Now, if you can't push him to an SP2, that's fine too. You can bait the SP1 out, evade it perfectly, not like me because I'm making a mess of it, and then you can go back and retaliate. You get a grit buff on you that makes you bypass the unstoppable, and you're able to knock down infamous Iron Man even with aura of iron. So that is the whole fight. So there is the SP1. Now you notice I have that grit. Now I can knock him down quite easily. Even his aura of iron is activated, so I don't need to worry about getting half of my HP as damage. SP2 can be a little tricky, just be careful about that. And you have to play a bit of aggressively, because if you don't, you're going to get shock damage, and that is going to kill you quite quickly. And if you are in the heavy attack range of infamous Iron Man, while you have a shock, you are in for trouble because you will be stunned along with a heavy attack. So those are a few things you need to take care about. I've given you quite a few options that you can bring in. Shield is also a really cool option because of a grit. But yeah, other options also work. You can also use auto-evade champions as Spider-Man Stark or Silk. All of those champions can also work because you can easily evade the SP1 and go back in after to get that grid debuff on you to make the life much more easier against this boss. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. I'll be back with the other part soon. Stay tuned and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.